Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Where the 99 Lead. It's a program brought to you by the University of Pikeville, where we discuss many different subjects in and around campus at the University of Pikeville. The 99, a reference to the historic 99 steps that lead to the University of Pikeville campus, but also lead from campus back into the community and into the world. One of our guests today, of course, a new member of that community and the UPike community, joined by Dr. Lori Worth, Provost at the University of Pikeville. Welcome to Where the 99 Lead.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Great to have you here, and we want to learn a little about you. Of course, we'll talk about your role as Provost and changes in the way things happen at the University of Pikeville. But first, tell us a little about yourself, some background, where you come from, and how you arrived at UPike.
So my husband and 3 daughters and I arrived in June. We moved 2,100 miles away from Idaho.
Wow.
So we arrived here this summer. It's been a great experience for us. Prior to that, lived in Idaho, actually immigrated to the United States from Romania. My family and I came here. I began elementary school and learned how to speak English here. Had a lot of teachers in Idaho who took us under their wings and did tutoring for us before school, after school, and ended up teaching both me, my brother, and our family how to speak English.
Wow.
And so grew up in Idaho. My junior year in high school, I had a science teacher who encouraged me to go on to college.
Sure.
So I went to a small private liberal arts university right outside of Boise, College of Idaho. And that's where I met my husband. I was majoring in biology and chemistry, and from there went on to get a master's degree in education and counseling, and then pursued my Doctor of Philosophy in education as well.
Very good. Husband's name?
His name is Eric, and we have 3 daughters. Our oldest daughter is Erica. We have a middle daughter, her name is Emily,
Nice.
and our youngest, her name is Ellie.
Very good. I love the alliteration with the girls' names, and proud to have all your family as part of our community.
Thank you.
Dr. Lori Worth is Provost at the University of Pikeville. If you're tuned in, you've been familiar with the university for lots of years. They say, what is a provost? Let's answer that question first before we go any further. I've heard this in the community. We have a new provost. What is that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. The term is often used within higher education, and a variety of different departments and units on campus typically report to a provost. And at University of Pikeville, Academic Affairs reports to me. We have 3 wonderful deans on campus. We have our Dean of Arts and Science, Dr. Tom Hess. We have our Dean of Nursing, Mary Simpson, and then our Dean of our Business School, Dr. Howard Roberts. And within Academic Affairs, there are the areas of humanities, social sciences, the arts, and so those areas report to me as well. And athletics, we also have retention, recruitment, student affairs, student development, on-campus life, and so I have the privilege of working with faculty and staff and coaches. It's a big position, but it's one that's very rewarding, working with many of the UPike family members.
And you have your finger on the pulse of pretty much every area of the university.
Yeah, it's a widespread position, but it's an area that really allows us to grow both on the academic end of campus and then also the co-curricular end, which these 2 areas, it's what encompasses the UPike experience for students. So it's a holistic approach definitely to higher education. It's one that's very efficient as well.
Tell us about your role as UPike's first provost and the transition for staff, faculty, administration, coaches, and those people that you interact with on a daily basis. What's that transition been like for them?
Sure. So we have a 127-year legacy on our campus of academic success. And within the university, a new provost model came about this summer. And it's a wonderful opportunity to bring the community together. So we often have coaches meeting with faculty members.
Sure.
But that makes sense for our institution. We have over half of our students on campus that participate in athletics.
Right.
And so having those units combined and together, able to communicate very, very well in a holistic approach is really what works for our institution and our students. It's a great opportunity for our staff to be connected with students as well. Recruitment and retention offices working close together in financial aid. So it's a great communication venue for us on campus.
A lot of people in the UPike family and in the community refer to staff, faculty, administration, coaches at UPike as family, and of course students become a part of that as well. Have you found that to be true?
It's absolutely true. We have a community that cares about our students, their parents. But when we moved here, it's one of the reasons why we selected UPike, is we felt like family when we came here. The community embraced their arms, and really we felt as though we were here at home in a great community.
You and your family moved 2,100 miles across the country to an unknown area that you had no idea existed prior to arriving here at UPike. Tell us about that. What attracted you and your family to UPike and the mission of UPike?
Yeah, so when we looked at the university, the first thing that I looked at, besides the job description, and it brought together many of my experiences. So within higher education the last 20 years, I've worked in academic affairs as a faculty member. I've worked 13 years in enrollment management. I've had opportunities to work with retention, so it brought together many of the experiences I've had in higher education. But we wanted to live in a rural community.
Sure.
And so for us, I'm a first generation student, and I grew up in a rural community,
Right.
and educators made a difference in my life. And that's how I got to college, by the encouragement of other individuals. And so we wanted to be in a community that was small, that was close knit, a campus community that could really make a difference in the life of a student, in a family. And we felt that that's what University of Pikeville was.
You were in college, and at some point you mentioned that you were inspired by someone to go into education. Talk about that.
Yeah, so when I started college, I was pre-med. I finished out with a biology and chemistry degree. I ended up taking an internship at a local emergency room hospital.
Yes.
And I quickly found out that that clinical skill set, it wasn't my strong suit.
Right.
But I knew that I could do well in terms of interacting with students. The theory of science and being able to know that quantitative research method side, that was definitely a strength of mine as well. And so what I quickly learned is that I wanted to make a difference in the lives of students. And I ended up working in college admissions for a long time as I started my career. I got my master's degree from Oregon State University, and so working with students, I worked with international students for a while. I taught classes for a while. Still came back to why first generation students especially, giving them the encouragement and a pathway that college could be a possibility for them.
Working with international students, and you come to the States as a youngster, learning the language, sharing the language with siblings. How did that experience help you in working with international students?
Oh, it was, for me personally, a life-changing experience. You had individuals that didn't get paid extra to come in early into their classroom to tutor me.
Sure.
And so they were individuals that saw the potential in the life of a student to be successful. And I think that's what we do on a daily basis. We do that with our students here in Eastern Kentucky. We do that with students across the country, where we encourage them that higher education is a pathway, and it's a pathway for a variety of different careers in a life.
UPike has a growing international student population. Are there plans to continue to try to grow that number?
There are wonderful plans for us to be able to grow within the area of athletics. Our Coleman College of Business is recruiting quite a few international students as well. It brings in a nice perspective for our campus community. I also think that the business partnerships within our community are important, and that is definitely strengthened with international community. We can have programs where faculty members come join us here. We also can send our faculty members overseas. So there could be both joint experiences for our students and students traveling abroad. Students can also contribute here locally, and then we can have faculty exchange programs as
And
well.
it changes the culture on both campuses.
Absolutely, absolutely it does.
Dr. Lori Worth, Provost at the University of Pikeville, our guest today on Where the 99 Lead. In addition to serving as UPike's Chief Academic Officer now as Provost, what departments and areas, again, do you oversee? Let's talk about the different departments. We've mentioned the Coleman College of Business. Of course, we've mentioned the College of Nursing. We've mentioned the College of Arts and Sciences. Let's talk about the departments.
So the areas outside of academics, the retention area reports to me. Part of our efforts this year is to really concentrate on the efforts of not only recruiting students to University of Pikeville, but ensuring that they have a strong experience at the university. And so the area of student engagement, the activities that are on campus, the residents' life experience, students living on campus. That area reports to me as well.
Is retention one of the biggest challenges for a college or a university?
Oh boy, I'd say there are a lot of challenges.
Sure.
I call them opportunities. So an opportunity for us at University of Pikeville is to ensure that students are having positive experiences on campus. And retention across the country, it's challenging when our students are changing, the type of student and the financial challenges as well. And so for us to be able to ensure that a student is succeeding academically, that's important for us.
Right.
Ensuring that their experience as a student athlete is successful, that's important as well. A safe community, that's important for our community. A student being involved on campus, ensuring that their housing experience is something that's fulfilling for them.
Right.
Parents are leaving their students on our campus and trusting their experience
Yeah.
to be positive at the university. That's something that we take very seriously, and
Sure.
we should as a community.
Absolutely. Expand on the point, students are changing. How so?
Yeah, so our students are changing across the country. Students may not be coming directly from high school to college. That might mean some type of extra experience for students. It might be students that need to work to be able to fund higher education as an opportunity. It could mean that students are trying to figure out what they want to study. There are opportunities for students within a four-year college experience, within community colleges, which are great partners for four-year colleges, to have that career exploration. That can take place as students are working full-time, but that could also take place as they're a student on campus full-time as well. So it gives students flexibility. Some students are wanting to travel. Some students have family obligations that they need to care for aging parents or grandparents, and so we're finding that the typical 17 to 18-year-old coming to college, sometimes the avenue they'll get to college,
Right.
sometimes it's not always direct.
Sure. Are we looking to the future of seeing more non-traditional students possibly?
Well, especially in small rural communities, you do. And the workforce and being able to have an educational experience for your traditional 18-year-old, that's important. But we have parents of students that when they come for summer orientations, they are asking about programs.
Sure.
We had a student, a transfer student that we talked to recently, and as we were talking about the opportunities for their education at the university and they were interested in athletics, their parent also became interested in our nursing program. And so interesting enough that sometimes when we recruit our students and we're finding a good fit for them, we find that parents are also interested in a workforce that often has to balance family responsibilities, work responsibilities, and then after that, adding an educational experience.
The landscape of higher education changing is how we see things. Talk about that. Tell us how so.
Yeah, so besides the student demographics that are changing, I think cost is an important issue right now within higher education. It's becoming more expensive to attend college. Being able to live on campus, that's the best scenario for a student. So a student who is either transferring to an institution or they're a high school student who's attending college, for them to have a strong academic experience, it would be serve them well to live on campus. And housing is becoming more expensive. This next year at University of Pikeville, we decided to really tackle that head on, and we've lowered the cost of students living on campus. That's something that's important, and we know it's a value. We also have seen the benefits of students living on campus. So just the holistic approach of cost. Books since 1973 have increased in price by 1,000%.
Wow.
So just the sheer experience of not only paying for tuition, of room and board, but the added expense every single semester of books. That's something that's just an astronomical cost right now. The student body in general, it's students who are active, not only working one job. So I worked through college to be able to sustain my expenses. We have students who are working 2 or 3 jobs, adding work study on top of that. They're academics and a student athlete and trying to make all of that work.
And that provides opportunities for retention for those students to be able to manage their time and maintain their academic load.
Absolutely, and supporting families. So not only are students supporting their own education, I was talking to several students in the last few months, and they are supporting their family as well. And so they are either sending money to support family members or being an active role within their family, and that's important for us in our culture of having that holistic family experience.
What help is available for students that have been hit by an economic climate, and they're going back to school, changing careers perhaps?
Yeah, Andrew, that's a great question. So for us, every student interested in a college experience should fill out the FAFSA. It's a federal form that we can help students and families fill that out. Any local high school, any community agency could, but it's a form that would help support families with federal grants,
Sure.
work-study opportunities, scholarships, and so this is funding that families don't have to pay back, which is great. Every higher ed institution has a scholarship system based on grade point average, test score, the academic profile of a student. There's also grants that are available, activities that a student might be interested in, music, theater. The fine arts are very important in addition to athletics.
And the FAFSA has undergone changes recently, a new deadline, and it has come and gone. You can file the FAFSA now for the upcoming semesters.
Absolutely. So it's the prior year taxes
Yes.
that you could use. So a family member right now, beginning October 1st and anything after, families can go ahead and fill that out and complete it, submit it to the college of their choice or several institutions. And they are able within this fall semester to get a glimpse of what financial aid will look like for an institution.
And when completing the FAFSA, you can input several school codes of possibilities. We want to remind folks the school code for the University of Pikeville is 001980.
Yep.
Correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They did not change that number. They have changed some in the years past, but not that one.
Yeah.
I can still remember that. Dr. Lori Worth, Provost at the University of Pikeville, our guest on this edition of Where the 99 Lead. And we talk about students enrolling at the University of Pikeville as freshmen, perhaps a first generation college student. We see those in our area, certainly, and you can relate with those, obviously, being a first generation college student. Why is that first year so important?
So the connectedness of being on a campus community and finding that connection with faculty and staff, coaches, community members, that's integral to success. Sometimes you don't know the pathway, and the support system on a college campus will help walk students through that. So whether it's in the classroom, faculty have office hours every single week. As a first generation student, I didn't realize that.
Sure.
I didn't realize that I had access to my professor during class hours, but they were also available to me off hours as
Right.
well. I also learned that there were tutoring services on campus, support systems. These are systems that can definitely help students succeed academically. And for us to be able to encourage engagement within the residence halls, outside of campus, we have students that commute back and forth, and an opportunity for them to have a support and a network system. Activities for students to be involved in, and faculty members that they can see them at games and different activities. For them to know that if faculty is here to help you succeed academically, they also want to help to see you succeed on a social level as well.
Absolutely, and I think first generation students, that is difficult to overcome. Some of those obstacles that aren't really obstacles other than not knowing where to turn.
Absolutely.
And Student Success does a great job with helping students find that path.
Yeah, and every single freshman has an advisor that they are assigned to. We also have faculty members within a major, so students who may not be sure, maybe they're not quite sure what their major is and they're still in that exploration phase, that is okay, and that's a good thing as well. And they're still chipping away at their degree in many of our general courses that students need to take. We have faculty members who maybe they're not within your department, but you met them at orientation. We have a robust orientation program that we welcomed all of our freshmen and transfer students, and they've connected with faculty members all over campus.
Sure.
We had a campus serve day where faculty and staff were able to spend an entire day with our new students serving our community. And so that was a great way for us to be able to, again, connect new students to different folks on campus.
Campus-wide focus on retention. What steps are being implemented that the entire campus is involved in retaining students?
Yeah. So it happened this year from day one when faculty and staff helped our students move into the residence halls.
Yeah.
So we met families, we met grandparents, siblings, and we were able to demonstrate that we are a community and we start from the first step of your student moving into our residence halls. We've had a great effort in retention. We invited John Gardner and Betsy Barefoot. They're world-known scholars in retention, and they've worked across the world and across the country in supporting institutions with retention. And they spent 2 days on our campus speaking to every single department on campus and walking folks through what it means to be able to retain students on a university campus. We emphasized what that first year means and that connection. We have a first-year studies program on campus where students are part of a network and community early on where faculty members connect with them. So the importance of knowing that when a student connects, especially those first 6 weeks within their campus experience, they'll stay at an institution and they'll finish and they'll graduate. And ultimately, that's what we want them to do.
Absolutely. We want successful students. We want successful students to become successful graduates. Dr. Lori Worth, Provost at the University of Pikeville, our guest. You're tuned to Where the 99 Lead, a program brought to you by the University of Pikeville and, of course, the admissions team, a hard-working, fun-loving group. I've had the opportunity to talk with so many members of that team over the years, and they love their job. Talking to prospective students, talking to prospective parents as well, and they're hard at it recruiting the next class of incoming students at UPike. What would you say to prospective students and parents about how UPike may be a good fit for them?
Oh, this is great. So we actually just had one of our call nights last night, and all of our admission counselors, they are traveling, but we're also contacting students and families and telling them what it means to be part of the UPike family.
Sure.
And it's not just a word or terminology that we're using, but we're wanting to connect with students. And we ensure that there is a match academically, but more than that, we ensure that families see that there's a possibility for students to be in a safe environment where students will graduate. They'll finish out with a strong academic program. Many of our students can minor, double minor, have several different majors, and the skill set that is gained from having a University of Pikeville degree. It's more than being a student. You end up becoming a leader.
There are still families out there that prospective students will be the first generation college students. When you're talking with those prospective students, and more importantly, their parents,
Yeah.
and they see obstacles that may be in front of them financially, whatever the case may be, what are ways that you break that down and show them that there are possibilities for a private school education for their student?
Yeah, we often do that on an individual basis, and
Yeah.
you just have to. Different families have different situations, and in fact, many of our students are able to afford a private education, but we walk families through what it means to have scholarships. What does it mean to have a grant? What does it mean if your student has to take a loan and the different types of loans? What type of scholarship system are there? The outside community-based scholarships that are available that many organizations and churches offer, and that's an important opportunity. And it's an individual basis. Every single family we can talk to, and we're able to walk folks through what it means. And at the end of the day, we are an affordable private institution in Eastern Kentucky that is able to take care of students very well.
I've heard so many stories that financial aid folks will tell me stories of families that didn't think they could afford the education. And once they've completed the FAFSA and they've seen the contribution that their family must make, they find that it is affordable and much more affordable than what they thought in comparison to other schools. And those are success stories when those students are able to attend college at the University of Pikeville, not realizing that they could financially until they get help from the financial aid
Oh,
team.
absolutely. And with private institutions, we don't have an out-of-state tuition. So one of the real assets of our institution is we're able to look at the cost of tuition, a very affordable private institution, the room and the board opportunities. And then when you add the scholarships and when you add some of the funding within Kentucky that our students are able to acquire, it's an affordable. At times, parents don't have to come up with anything out of their pocket, which is great.
Yeah, important that students score well on their test, and there are scholarship opportunities there and available to prospective students. We're talking with the provost at the University of Pikeville, Dr. Lori Worth, provost, the chief academic officer at UPike, and we talk about earning a college degree, changing families with first-generation students. And earning a college degree can be challenging for many different reasons. When you talk with students, how do you encourage them? Prospective students, but more importantly, students that are already on campus. How do you offer encouragement?
Yeah, so part of my strategy since I started in June is spending time with alumni as well. We have folks within our community and outside of our community that have stories that I am now sharing with our prospective students and our current students. So we have alumni that have walked this road and the path was paved for them, and being able to share that their families didn't think that this was a possibility financially, and they have made it through, and with a degree and what it means, and now they're owning their own business, they're CEOs and presidents of their own companies, that there is a possibility in how this education ends up changing their lives. I think at times it's a network. So in addition to gaining a degree from University of Pikeville, our students stay connected. They stay connected to a community on campus that if you need to call a faculty member or email them, they are still there and they're able to connect. We have a community of alumni as well and a network of individuals that are able to be supportive. And so I think in addition to that degree that's very important for that next step in life, there's a skill set that students end up learning and some unique skill sets, but there's a connection to our university that I think is very important as well.
It's all about the UPike family.
Absolutely.
It continues after graduation, indeed. Now's the time of year many students and their families are making those college decisions. They're looking at different colleges. And if someone is looking for more information about the University of Pikeville, within our geographic area, but also outreaching areas that the admissions counselors are working. And they're tuned in today and they'd like more information. How do they receive that?
Yeah, so one of the first things is jump on our website, www.upike.edu, and there's an admissions section on our website, and please fill that out and let us know. We will contact you, we'll schedule a campus visit. Right now we have lots of groups on campus that are visiting campus and an opportunity to be able to attend a class. If you want to stay overnight, that's a great opportunity as well. Meet with one of our coaches, any of our admissions counselors or faculty members. So there is a schedule and a visit that we can tailor for every single family member. Our coaches right now are traveling as well, recruiting, and so if folks are interested in either being involved in sports or some type of activity, that can be an opportunity as well.
And of course, you've been on campus now for just a few months, but you've got a pretty good handle on what the University of Pikeville is all about. What is the state of academics at the University of Pikeville?
Yeah, so right now it's an exciting time on our campus. We have initiatives that are happening in terms of looking at programs and program expansion, looking at our general education courses that we offer. We have faculty members that are on our campus that are innovative and doing some wonderful things in the classroom. We just had a group of faculty members taking some of our current students over to Cincinnati and to Indiana and having an international weekend experience where they learned about different international types of ethnic foods and restaurant and cultural experiences. So what's happening in the classroom, but in addition to that, faculty members that are encouraging involvement of students outside of the classroom as well. So it's a combination.
And a faculty member that will be traveling to Washington for the upcoming inauguration.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, Dr. Nancy Cade is leaving with 12 students to Washington, D.C. And what a great experience to have as a student, being able to witness that type of experience at a national level. That's something that's going to be great for them.
It will indeed. The college experience, not just on campus, but throughout the country, throughout the world for our UPike students. Great opportunities. And Dr. Lori Worth, we're out of time, but want to thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
Welcome to Pikeville.
Thank you. It's been wonderful. Appreciate it.
Dr. Lori Worth, Provost at the University of Pikeville, our guest on this edition of Where the 99 Lead, a program brought to you by the University of Pikeville, the leading university of Central Appalachia.